Hey guys, let's look at, this is number 34. Specifically, this is how to write the equation from a word problem. And so I'm looking specifically at number 34 on your study guide, just so you guys have a reference sheet that you can follow along with. So let's look at this one. It says write the balanced chemical equations for the following reactions. And in this video, I'm not focused on balancing. I'm just focused on you guys writing the equation correctly. We have lots of videos already on how to balance equations. So copper reacts with chlorine to produce copper 2 chloride. So they're already letting you know the products. You don't have to predict products here. So copper reacts. So reacts means your plus sign. So you've got copper, which is Cu. If you can't remember what this symbol for copper is, don't guess. Look at your periodic table. That's why you have it. Copper reacts with chlorine, which is Cl, to produce, that's your arrow letting you know what the product is going to be, copper 2 chloride. Okay, remember this 2 has a purpose right here. It's letting you know the charge for copper. So it's letting you know that it is going to have a +2 charge in it because chloride is really chlorine and it has a -1 charge in it. And that matters because this is a compound, so we leave them as they are. So the way that we would write that is very simply Cu plus Cl reacts to form copper 2 chloride. And because of this +2 -1, when we swap and drop those, we're going to write Cu, and the 1 would come down here. You don't need to write Cl, and the 2 goes down there. Now again, it is not balanced, so it's not finished. You have to go back and you're going to have to make sure that they're balanced out correctly and that you have the right number of coppers on each side, because I can already tell from looking at this that there's 2 chlorines over here, but just 1 over here. So this one would actually be pretty simple to balance. You can already guess that you're just going to end up with a 2. But that's how you write that into the equation form. Okay, the second one, sorry, let me shift there. The second one says magnesium reacts with oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. So we have magnesium, which is Mg. And again, don't guess. Refer to your periodic table. Don't assume just because I have these in my head that you should also. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. And for that one, we're going to have to figure out their charges, but it's still going to be MgO. Okay, and produce is your arrows. Could be produced, could be to form, something like that. So now I've got to go back to the periodic table. I've got to just double check a couple of things. For one, and your periodic table should be labeled, you want to make sure that magnesium is not a diatomic, because when it's by itself like this, the only rule is when you're not sure about subscripts, they don't have subscripts unless they're diatomic elements. If it's a diatomic element, it's going to have a subscript. Hydrogen is circled, and then these guys over here, starting at the 7, making the 7, those are circled. Oxygen is one of them. Magnesium is not. So magnesium would just be by itself. Oxygen would have to be O2. And then afterward, oxygen is in a compound. So you don't have to worry about it being a diatomic element there because it's not by itself. But you do have to worry about the charge. Magnesium is a +2 charge, and oxygen is a -2 charge. And so it turns out that +2, -2, they balance out. So you just write MgO. Now, again, these are not balanced. And you should be able to tell by now with all the practice we've done that there's 2 of these and only 1 of those, so something isn't quite balanced. You can balance them on your own time. And you can also look at the answer sheet, which is already provided for you. Silver nitrate reacts with hydrogen sulfate to produce silver sulfate and nitric acid. So this one has a few more wordy parts to it. So silver nitrate, so silver is Ag. Nitrate, because it ends in ATE, you have to know you're going to look at the back of the periodic table. So let's find nitrate back here. Usually in alphabetical order, not always, but here's nitrate, NO3 -1. And while we're at it, let's get silver's charge. Silver is a transition metal, but its charge is always a +1. Silver, these guys right here are always on the back. Silver is a +1. So that means when we write those and swap and drop them, we're just going to leave them as they are. Okay, it reacts with, that's your plus, with hydrogen sulfate. Hydrogen is H, sulfate ends in ATE. So let's look back here. There's sulfate, SO4 minus 2. I'm going to put it in parentheses, and H is a plus 1. It's a little out of focus there. To produce, use your arrow, silver sulfate. So silver was Ag, and it was a plus 1. Sulfate was SO4 minus 2. That's not going to cut it. SO4 minus 2. And nitric acid. So nitric acid is going to have to be H, because that's only 2 things left, which is a plus 1, and NO3 minus 1. Don't be thrown off by the fact that it says nitric acid. You guys know that you have to have the same things on the left and the right. Acid basically means it has a hydrogen with it, but you know that you have to use this and the H, okay, and put the positive first. So all that we have to do is rewrite this down here, and we've got our plus 1 or minus 1, so this is going to be AgNO3 plus, and when we swap and drop this, we're going to have H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid, produces plus 1 and minus 2, so we're going to put that Ag2SO4 plus, and then this is 1 and 1, so it's going to be HNO3. Okay, and again, not balanced, so it's not finished, but that's not the scope of this particular lesson or video. Okay, so there you go. That's what you have. You can also refer to the answer sheet, but that'll let you guys know how to do it on your own time.